Welcome back, tribe. I am so happy that you have joined me here today. I have another great interview with my sister, Shannon. Oh, I'm excited. I'm excited for you guys to hear her story, for you guys to get to know her. I absolutely love her. I love the memories that we shared in foster care together. And yeah, you guys get to hear it in a minute. But I am super excited. Um, this was a connection that I built in Boyertown. So Boyertown is number 3 of the foster home journey that I am doing on my channel. So you guys get to see the journey that I had in foster care. If you go to Who Was I Living With episodes, you'll see there's 2 already and this is the 3rd one. So this will be part of that. But yeah, I'm excited because we had a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun in this foster home. This foster home was a blessing. There were things towards the end that I did not like at all. But you know, my sisters, this is the start of an extended family for me. And my sisters that came out of this home mean so much to me, all of them. So I am excited to introduce you guys to my sister, Shannon, which you'll get to meet in a minute.
I'm a cat. I'm trapped in a corner. I don't want to be trapped. I need my, like, I need to, you're too, you know what I mean? Like, I need to figure this out. And so then you run and you want to run because it's so if your significant partner is anything like mine, it's not easy.
Yes.
But I over-explain. Like, I over-explain my emotions, and I over-explain, like, this is why I'm speaking to you this way. Like, this is why I'm trying to, like, it's and it is too much for them because they don't understand.
Yeah.
But it's like, I don't want to fight with you, but I need you to understand that I'm not, like, it's not you, it's the situation, but it's a bunch of PTSD of all of this is how I've had to survive my whole life, and I'm working on it. But just like it took my whole life for me to get here, it's going to take a long time for me to get rid of those habits. And if you can stick with me through it, I promise it's going to be worthwhile. It's going to be beneficial. This is going to be the best relationship you've ever had. And we are going to have ups and we are going to have downs because let's be real, they're not perfect either.
Yes.
And they have their own baggage from whatever they deal with, right? Or lack of baggage if they don't talk about it. And that's where it can cause them some frustration and some turmoil in a relationship because we recognize what we're doing while we're doing it, and then we try to over-explain why we just acted like that. And they're like, you just are a psycho person right now. Like, I don't get it, but it's like, it makes sense to us. If that makes sense, you know what I mean? So, and so I completely get where you're coming from there. And, you know, my thing is, if they're not willing to put up with it, then they're not strong enough for us.
Yeah, exactly.
And if you can't be strong enough for me like this, how are you going to be strong enough for me when I break down? When I'm not going to be, when I'm going to have that day when it's not going to be a strong day? Because that's when I'm going to need you to pick me up.
Yeah.
And if you can't pick me up now when I'm just having a little crisis of identity, then, you know, I don't know if I want to, you know, put myself in that situation, or if I want to open my heart and trust you, because that's a risk, and I don't know if I'm willing to take that right now. You know what I mean? So.
And I keep telling him, like, I'd rather give you the real me so you can make your own decision if you want to stay or go, and we don't have to have time, because a lot of times time keeps people together when they should have just split up. And for him, I said, I just want to give you the real me. I want the real you. I know that women, some people ask, like, do I look fat in this outfit? And they don't want you to say they look fat. For me, don't let me leave the house looking a mess. Like I ain't have a mirror or a friend. Like, be honest. So.
But then also remember, I'm that friend. If you're going to ask, I'm going to give you
exactly. And that's why I love you. Yes, Luce Marie, you look a mess.
Today, but you know, might want to just work on that.
Like, so I need him because I told him too many people lied to me. Too many people.
We don't know what to believe anymore.
Yes, they, you know, they give you what they think you want to hear.
I love you.
And so I told him, tell me the truth. Give me the transparency, the truth when I don't ask. If I have to ask you a question and you tell me the truth, I'm gonna appreciate it because you were honest with me. But I'm like, damn, did you just feel sorry because I found out? Like, just tell me the truth at all times. Just be honest, be open, and I will do the same. And then, so he's like, for our tribe listening, I want you to know that that's not easy. So pick a spot. If you're in a relationship, I want you to pick a spot where you meet with your partner and that's your safe space. So it can be in your bedroom. If you don't want those energies, I'm a big energy person. I don't want it in my bedroom. We do it in the shower. We stand, you don't even have to be naked. Let's not make it like that. You can stand with your bathing suit, like whatever, shorts, shirts, whatever you feel comfortable with. You stand on opposite ends of the shower. You turn on the shower, let the water run. And this was his idea because the water, he said it would just cleanse everything down the drain. You can get some essential oils, whatever you want to do, make it however you want to make it. And you stand in the safe space and you can say anything you want to say. And understand that you say it in love, with compassion. You're not trying to hurt or kill the person. You're not trying to dehumanize somebody. You're not trying to take their experience away. You're listening with the intent to understand. You allow it to be said. You then find a solution if there's a solution. If not, come together, slowly start moving to each other to that water. And hold each other, allowing everything to go down the drain. And then you're coming out of that safe space knowing that you are loved, that that person's not running away. And if they are willing to sit there and listen to the stuff you got to say, especially when you're like me, woo, it's 20 people inside of me. He deals with it. So if you're willing to deal with the 20th person, by the time we done, I know you're not going nowhere. I got to remind myself of that. Because if they love me that much to listen, to sit through it, to hold me, to cry with me, then to come out and still parent with me, do life with me, I'm good. I got to keep reminding myself I am good. So yes, I just want the tribe to understand, like to know that. You pick a safe space and just talk.
Definitely. Communication is key.
Yeah.
And I know we touched on about over-explaining, but that's a coping mechanism.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I definitely recommend, like, if you're a partner of, maybe your significant other who might resemble the same traits that we resemble, the worst thing you can do is cut them off and diminish that conversation.
Yes.
And, like, I get if it's heated, right? Like, it gets heated, you guys need a break. Take that break. But But if he or she needs to, or they need to come out and express, and if they need to keep talking, if they might over-explain the situation, heck, I over-explain articles sometimes because we have a lot of feelings, and we didn't, again, the therapy that is there today was not at all what we had growing up. It was just talk about it, write it down, scream in a pillow, like it just... be able to express it, but it's not always about expressing it. It's about understanding it. It's about going, okay, well, why am I thinking like this? Like, and being able to figure out, like, okay, well, I should be able to explain my feelings, but you're not getting what I'm saying. And so because we have all of these different emotions running on at one time, like that's what most people don't understand. They're not just with one emotion at a time. Like we're being hit from all angles. Something you said could have triggered a memory. Something that the way that you looked at me could have triggered a feel like you turning your back on me. Like there's all different things that could trigger multiple emotions simultaneously at once. And then when that hits, that's when we end up having, those type of conversations where it's just blah, 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 blah. It's like a word jumble, but it's not really a word jumble. It absolutely makes sense. It's hard, and it's not like we can shut it off. So, I mean, if my advice, if you definitely have someone who's like that and they need to share and they're over explaining or they're repeating themselves, let them. It's not killing anybody, right? Like they have to do it for a reason. They're getting something out, and sometimes it might take 2 or 3 times to be able to work through that conversation or work through that memory or work through that feeling. And yeah, as a partner, you might get sick of hearing the same damn story over and over again.
Yep.
But you're actually doing more good by just listening.
Yep.
Allowing those of us that are like that to be able to just work it through. That is our way of working it through. And because you're a safe space, regardless of where you are, you're still my safe person. You're my person, right? So I just need you to just be there. It's almost like at work, right? When you're like, I know something and I need to call something. As soon as I call my coworker, I'm like, never mind, I remember now. I figured it out. You know what I mean?
Yep.
You just need to like work it out. So, I mean, but that is one thing that my husband and I, you know, we fought about, like, because he's like, oh my God, like you're just over explaining and just like enough already. And I'm like, yeah. So the moment that you did that, I just went from 0 to 120 bitchin' mode in my head.
Yep.
And I, like, because now I just went from, I'm trying to explain my emotions that I'm not angry, I'm something completely else. But because you just cut me down like that, I'm now angry. And now my entire attention is focused on that one person who probably is going to get the brunt of a lot of emotions that he shouldn't get. Right? So, and, you know, as we've gotten older and I've been able to recognize this more, you know, there's times I just look now and I'm just like, okay. Right? It's just like, okay, all right. Just like, you know, I'm like, I'm just not even going to deal with this one this time. I'm pick and choose my battle.
Yes. And let me just say, if you're somebody listening in and you have someone in your life that resembles us, for me, what works in this relationship, because he, like I was telling another person I was interviewing, he asked me to be soft. I don't know what soft is, since soft was a thing. I've never been soft. I've always been a fighter. I don't realize if I'm being soft or rough. It's not, you know. So with him, because like I asked him to explain it to me, because I was honest. I said, I don't know what that is. And he explained what he meant by soft. Then, so now that we got to explaining what we need for the relationship to work, what he does for me is my love language. Learn your spouse's love language, because mine is, it changes over years. Like it changed, you know, quality time was number one, but I do love physical touch. Depending, I don't like to be touched all the time, and by certain people, you know, I just don't like to be touched all the time. But when it's, I need to feel grounded, I need to feel an anchor, and I need to feel safe. He'll calmly he'll ask me. That's an important thing for me, that you ask to enter my space. He'll ask me, can I touch you right now? And he'll grab my hands if I say yes. If I say no, he'll respect and just sit close to me. But he'll then slowly, as we go on and he can tell my body language, he'll put his hand on my leg, or because I shake a lot. And so he'll put his hand on my leg or grab my hands and stuff like that. And just tell me. He'll say it calmly, not like, you know, because when you do the Puerto Rican, when you start, don't lift the finger, because then I got to clap back. That's not what, we don't want that. He no, for real, but he'll sit next to me. He'll ask me if I want him to touch me. If I say yes, he will. You know, and then he tells me, he'll look at me. He'll ask me to look at him, because I tend to look off. He'll ask me to look at him, and he tells me calmly, I love you, and I'm not the one you're fighting against. Only because my aggression comes out towards him, or my anger. And he in the moment, it's not because of him, but because, you know, I'm a Puerto Rican, I'm already loud, I don't know how to calm down. Like, and so he knows that. And he like, I'm not the one you're fighting against. We're here as a team. I love you and I'm willing to listen. And so I'm like, okay, it'll hit me, and then I can gather my thoughts and then talk to him. Because surprisingly, this is the first relationship where I'm not yelling. This is the first relationship where we have communication, transparency, and I'm proud of that, because it took so many years. And I am sorry, let me publicly say this, because he already knows how I feel. To my ex-husband, the father of my children, the love is still there as a friend. I do apologize, because I was not easy, and I was a yeller, and we argued all the time. And if I didn't feel like you got me, you know, I was in your face. And there was moments where I was a sweet person and I was calm, and then, you know, all of this stuff. So to you, the father of my children, Listen, you deserve an award for being with me.
I mean, everything about you is about me too, because I'm the same. I think I've just mellowed out. Either that I'm losing my voice, so it doesn't have the same effect. My kids are older, so.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. But at the same time, he's an ex for a reason. So
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean things happen. I just feel like when you break up, we don't need to fight. We don't need to put. But I just want to say, I know I'm not easy. I know I wasn't an easy person, and neither was he. But I wasn't trying to talk. I was trying to be heard, and nobody was listening. We weren't listening. We didn't know how to communicate, and that's the thing. Some relationships, some relationships end, and that's okay. And we didn't know how to let go. And with this one, I know that it's different, and I know it's real because of the way I desire to change, and the way he desires to change, and the way we make each other feel. So like I said, if you're somebody listening in that has a spouse who's been in foster care or been in a situation that changed who they are over time, or yourself and you're in a relationship, there's some things that we need to learn how to do. There's some things that are imperative to implement in a relationship so it can work. Because you'll go back to that fight or flight or fawn thing, freeze in the moment. Sometimes you remain stuck in unhealthy situations. You don't know how to let go when it's time to let go because you want to hold on to everything. So you become a hoarder. So, whew.
girl, we made it though.
Yes. What is something that you're proud of? Like, what is something you're like extremely proud of? Like, yeah, I did that.
I bought a house.
Woo!
Like, I know that, like, I come from a family that had money, you know what I mean? Like, both sides of the fence. I grew up in a trailer, just, throw those on here. I did grow up in a trailer, but I've also grew up with money. But I never thought that I would have anything that was mine.
Wow.
Do you know what I mean? Like, and so
I get it.
And my drive was my kids. Actually, no, if I'm being honest, my drive was because I wanted to do something for me. Like, I wanted to prove to myself that I could do something. And I did a couple things dumb. Like, I did go to college right after high school, but then I dropped out. And then, but I ended up finishing my degree with 2 kids. So I definitely recommend doing it right after high school because it's a lot easier without kids.
Yes, it is.
But like I mean, you know this about me. Like, I enjoyed school. Like, I liked learning. And I did want to make something of myself. But the way that the workforce is today is not how we were brought up for it to be, right? And so looking back, I'm like, I wish I would have gone into like the IT aspect, like, because of where we're at today. And, but I had a journey, and looking back, there's definitely where you can see like which path you took, right? Like, you can go and I always wonder if I didn't take one path, if I would have taken another. But I look at it this way: I'm like, my kids, they're happy.
Yes.
My kids are healthy. I have a phenomenal husband. I mean, he's still a husband for those who are listening. You know what I mean? And I do have family and I do have friends.
Yeah.
But I am getting to that point, as I said, that I'm like, it can't just be a one-way street anymore, right? Like, I can't just be me wanting to have the relationship. Like, I want people to want to have one with me.
Yes.
Too, right?
Yes.
And it's like, I'm the one calling, I'm the one reaching out. I'm like, I'm tired of doing that. Like, either I'm involved in your life or call me when you're able to. We'll get together then, right? There's no judgment because everybody's different. Everybody's busy. But I do want to work more on, being with the family that really means a lot to me. And I want my kids, like our kids, like, we can have a family reunion someday and there's going to be like 50 of them around. And like, we're going to look back and be like, wow, like in foster care when you were 14, I'm 16, 17, 18. And it like, never would you couldn't have asked us what we thought our life was going to be like. You couldn't have asked us, do you have a wedding planned? Like some of the girls, you couldn't have asked us that because we weren't able to dream.
Yeah.
We were too busy just trying to figure out day by day, let alone what our future husband would look like, or our future girlfriend would look like, or and so I just, that was the one thing that I'm proud of, is I was able to give my kids a somewhat, because I was divorced as well, that was rough a little bit, but with the custody and everything, but a normal, stable childhood where they felt that no matter what happened, they could call mom, and mom would be there. And mom, if you did something wrong, mom's going to scream at you, but I'll at least wait until tomorrow, right? Like, if it's that bad. So, and, my kids are doing great school. My daughter managed her dream. Like,
Ooh.
I just never thought, with all of the trauma that we went through, that we would end up normal.
Yeah.
In society's version of normal, not my version of normal, because I think us, we are our own breed, and there's very few of us out there, but those that are out there, like, we do need to come together. But I don't like normal. I've never been one.
For real.
Everybody's individual, and that's what makes us amazing as the human race, is because you're wearing pink, and I absolutely can't stand that color.
Oh.
But I do have our Eagles on, though. So
ooh, I should have put on my shirt. You should have told me.
I should have. Yeah. I'm half tempted to buy the $100 Eagles bobblehead.
Listen.
But, like, I think that's what I'm most proud of, is that I could have done better. The things that we did growing up, but for not having much support,
yes,
for not having a support system, for not having really any effing guidance of what the hell to do when you turn 18 and you don't have a place to live anymore, we made it. Like, I mean, we've done better than people who've had coddled lives.
Yes.
And it really, it brings it down to, it's about choices. It's about, are you willing to be this type of person or this type of person?
Yes.
And like you said, you partied, I partied, the guys, like, it was a way to not feel, but then it was like, is that really our way to live?
Yes.
And, I had my daughter at 26, and how old were you for your first?
I got pregnant at 16, had him at 17.
17, right? Like, you were a baby.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, 26, and I still think, oh my God, I was not at all old enough to have kids. Just because my body says that we're old enough to have kids doesn't mean that mentally we're old enough to have kids. And, we had to learn things, but we also, again, you're dealing with your own trauma while trying to bring a new child into this world.
Yep.
Right? Like, that's like working 18 full-time jobs.
Yes.
It's not... You don't even know how to be a kid, let alone raise one. And I say that because I felt the same at 26, because I can only imagine what you felt at 17.
Yeah.
But, like, did you have your family with you? Did you not? Like, you could have been alone. Like, those are things, as your a bigger sister, I'm like, oh my God, like, I could have been better. But, you know what I mean? Like, it's those are the things I feel guilty about. But I also know that you and I have a relationship that we could have not talked for 10 years and seen each other and picked it up where we left off.
Yep.
I also know that if I am ever in trouble, I could call you.
Amen.
So,
yes.
So as much as I felt guilty, in my mind, I was like, well, then be better. Reach out to her, see how she's doing, do the things that she asked to do, go visit, like, you know what I mean? And you're only 3.5 hours away from my in-laws in Texas, so we can make that work, right?
Okay.
And, like, so it's just, like you said, it's just all about, like, learning from these experiences and growing. But I'm proud of us.
Yes.
I'm proud of you. I'm proud of Rose. I'm proud of Melissa and Becky and Sherry. Even Sherry.
Listen.
And Brenda. I feel like we failed Erica, and I know you feel that way. But that's where she's in a better place. You and I know that.
Yeah.
Mentally, she's in a better place. But that's where it's like, what could I have done? If I was still having...
I deal with that.
What could I have done to help her?
Yeah.
Other than be there for her, and maybe that's all it took, right? And So my greatest regret is Erica and not being more of a bigger sister to her. But I am proud of all of us because each one of us have our own individual story.
Yeah.
But we were all able to do it, and we all did it without help, or we were able to lean on the family that wasn't actually blood to get us help.
Yes.
Right? So, but my kids, Marie, I am so unbelievably proud of my kids, and I am so sad that I lost one because I always said I wanted three. Apparently, I needed to specify when I prayed, but it's okay. So he's our guardian angel, and he's watching out for us. But I am my biggest achievement is my kids because I honestly never thought that I would be well enough mentally to be able to be a mom.
Wow. This conversation with my sister, although we were brought together by the system, it was a choice to be sisters. It was a choice that we made, and a choice that although life took us apart and had us in different paths, we held on to. And so she's my sister regardless of whatever. Will always be my sister. Yeah, she can call on me, I can call on her, and I love that. I love that we didn't lose that connection. It's so hard to like go back because there's a lot of things that I didn't deal with or I didn't talk about, and as we talk, like they come out and it's emotional for me. So you know, I have to compose myself and hold it in, you know, but it was nice to speak about. So what I recommend for the tribe, anybody listening, is if you have something that is hurting you, something that somebody did, no matter if it's little or big, I'm going to do a video on how I started healing and how I started having hard conversations that needed to be had. And I suggest that before you pretend like everything's okay and go on and party and have fun and laugh and ignore the pain of it all or the sadness of it all or what happened, I just suggest you sit down with that person and you begin to have a conversation in a certain way. Because what I learned over time was that if you come clapping, people gonna clap back. If you come as somebody, you know, with this finger up and you know, or you're loud, you coming at them, you're going to either have someone come back at you and the conversation is just going to be no more, or they'll walk away. They'll shut down and they'll walk away and nothing will get accomplished. So learning how to speak and communicate will get you much further. And if it's somebody that really loves you, like I know my sister loves me. And so I can talk to her and tell her how I feel. She can talk to me and tell me how she feels. I can hear her pain about the regret she had. And I say I forgive her. And she can receive that. Knowing that I truly forgive you, we can move forward now. So tribe, don't start relationships. Don't continue relationships until the healing has happened. And it's not going to be an overnight healing, but the process can be started. And then you can move forward from there. Another thing I want to suggest to anybody listening that has power over the system, make it possible for foster children who are leaving the system or aging out rather, because I think when you leave the system and you're young, you can be transferred onto somebody's medical or whatever the case may be. I feel that foster children should not have to have kids to then receive assistance. If you aged out of the foster system, I feel that providing medical for free should be something that foster children understand that it's available to them. Because I don't think that they know or understand that that help is available. I think it should be an automatic thing where they age out and they understand, they leave the caseworker understanding that medical is available to them at no charge. Everything is covered for a certain amount of years. And then allow them to understand they have to be active in receiving assistance like therapy or different coaching. Make coaching something that medical covers, because it's the first thing. And I know there's probably not a lot of research out there for coaching, but it was the first thing that allowed me, because how coaching is done, it allowed me to be open to therapy. And although now as an adult I go into the therapist's office and I sit to the corner by myself, I can still feel like, okay, I can receive this. I know how to speak up for myself when something doesn't feel right, and it's not forced upon me. I can build a trust relationship with this therapist and I can get something accomplished. But that happened through coaching. And I'm a life coach now, have many clients that have been in the system or in a one-parent household or been through life. And it's something that as we build a rapport, they can then feel relaxed to then feel comfortable to say, oh yeah, that stemmed from this situation. And I can't diagnose, so I'm going to point them to a therapist. I'm going to say, the honest truth is I can't, I'm not qualified to deal with the situation, but I feel like it's healthier for you to see a therapist. Date around, as in date the therapist, because you go on dates to see if who you're going to marry. Don't just settle with one therapist if it doesn't feel right. Continually find a therapist and until you find the right match. If you're listening, foster children need help. People that aged out or are leaving the system, they need help. It should be a requirement for the family member that is taking them into their home to have sessions before they receive the child. Have sessions together. Some type of counseling or therapy sessions where they receive that together to hear what the child is going through, and no one has to take no one's experience away. It's an open line, a safe space where you can say what you need to say and move forward. I think those things should happen. Again, tribe, I thank you for watching. I thank you for listening in. If there's anything that touched you or you want to leave a positive message for my sister, you can leave it down below. We would love to read what you have to say. Man, I'm just filled with joy, love, and emotions right now. So I'm trying to ground myself and keep myself composed so I can finish this. But it just meant a lot to me. And I pray that it touched you in some way. If you liked it, hit like. If you want to share it, please share. And especially if you know somebody else needs to hear this or can benefit from hearing it, I ask that you share it. But I ask that you share these videos of the interview or whatever other videos on my channel you want to share, so that the word can get out there about what happened. And not so we can bash the system, because things happened. They happen all the time, and good and bad. So we're not bashing. We're just giving our stories, our testimonies, and it's in the way that we perceived it, our reality, what we experienced. So we all know there's two sides to a story. We get it, but we're sharing our story so that we can shed light on how to improve the system or what to do next. Or maybe one of our stories will provoke a thought and it will get people to think, what can we do to help? So yeah, that's why I'm doing this podcast, and I'm excited to join together with my sister in business so that we can continually grow, continually share stories and come up with different ideas to help the foster system. But this channel, let me make something clear, this channel is for other people as well. If you lived a life of whatever it was that you had to come out of or go through and learn from, you can share your story on this channel so that somebody else can receive it and receive and be open to receiving help or speaking about their story, finding freedom in sharing, finding the courage to speak up and then receive the help. So I believe that everybody has a story, everybody has a testimony, everybody has a life that they have lived, and everybody is able to help somebody. And together we can help a lot of people. So if you have something you want to share, we have a process that you have to go through so that we can understand what it is that you want to share. But yeah, listen, let's do it together. I thank you guys for watching. I pray until next time, until we meet again, that you understand that you are loved, that you are worth being loved, that you are an amazing person. You don't deserve anything bad that is happening to you. You don't deserve the abuse. We have the power to say, I don't like this about my life, or I want to change this. And we have that power to do so. So remember, you have the power to change your situation. It might need to start in baby steps, but you can take the first little step to doing that, because you don't deserve to be miserable. I don't care. Your past was a life lesson, not a life sentence. You're not meant to die with the things that you did holding you back and all. No, you're meant to live. So it's your choice if you want to do that. And that's what I had to realize, that I can take control. Because one thing John C. Maxwell said was, change is the only guarantee that your tomorrow is going to get better. And the only person that can change you is you. Other people can inspire change, but they can't force you to change. You have to make that decision. When he said that and I heard it for the first time, man, that hit and the light switch went on. Because yes, it's simple, but it was profound at the moment. I needed it. So I just hope and pray that you, tribe member, just realize your greatness. Realize that you're worth it. Realize that you have a purpose on this earth. And take control of that and move forward with it. I thank you. Be blessed.